You are the first Hispanic supervisor that's coming to the national office to work at this level. We need that representation because we see the growth of the Hispanics.
I did not want to follow my dad's footsteps because I saw the challenge that he had as being a pastor.
I came to a town where there had been a white flight. They had left, and they left a void, but yet a complete political instability in that area. They gave me the challenge. They said, Espinoza, if the Spanish districts are not getting involved, we need you to help bring them in and put them at the table. I'm Efraim Espinosa, and I served as director of the Office of Hispanic Relations for 11 years. In 1971, I was invited, actually I was assigned to be a pastor to a little town called Crystal City, population 8,000. This little town in 1969 had gone through a political revolution. There had been a white flight. They had left, and they left a void, but yet a complete political instability in that area. The superintendent said, it's a difficult situation, but at least stay 6 months and help us. I got to Crystal City 6 days after I graduated from Latin American Bible Institute. And I pastored there for 14 years and a couple of months. We grew as a church, we grew in our influence, and we grew in our involvement in the community. After 20 years of doing this, in 2006, that Dr. Thomas Trask, superintendent at that time, called me into the office. He said, Espinoza, we need to do something now. Here's a budget. Can you work with this budget? Can you get an assistant? But we need to have an office that serves our Hispanic constituency, both in the geographic districts and the Hispanic districts. And it was in 2006 that we launched this office. I finally came up with the proposal, calling it the Office of Hispanic Relations. The executives approved it, and it became part of the national office since then. In the 90s, we started seeing that our 4 Hispanic districts that we had at that time began to grow so much that they had to multiply, but there needed to be a process. So we started helping the publication area, the evangelism office, the discipleship office to work with new strategies. One of the things that we tried at first was the development of a Sunday school literature, of a discipleship curriculum, which would be both in English and in Spanish. But our office was able to bring it together and make it a cohesive effort that now the General Council can offer those resources to our Hispanic churches and to our other churches as they grow.
For the last 20 years, I've been in contact and in relationship with the Office of Hispanic Relations. When they started this office, it was just a wonderful blessing to all of our Hispanic districts. Everything changed for us because now we were attending general councils and general presbytery meetings and being part of the Assemblies of God nationwide.
I think it gave stability to the Hispanic church growth to be able to give this resources. So we had a church planting strategy to help and resource those new churches with new believers material, with discipleship materials, and then also with a strategy that would give them constitution and bylaws, guidelines that would be in Spanish also so that they could become organized, affiliated churches in our country. And we saw in the 90s the phenomenal level of Hispanic church openings supersede even the geographic districts for several years in a row.
The ministry that Hispanic Relation offering resources in their language for Sunday school, for discipleship, for pastors, it is just outstanding.
I think our move over here opened our eyes, number one, in what God could do, but it also made us embrace not losing what we had. It made us very cognizant that we were Latinos, we were Hispanics. And we didn't lose it. My kids, I challenged them and I told them, I said, when we moved, we quit speaking Spanish. We quit being who we were. I don't want you to lose what you have. And they embraced it to the point they said, we're going to continue taking Spanish in high school. We're going to take Spanish in college. We're going to be who we are without losing our identity now because we're in Midwest and not in a predominant Spanish population like we were down in Texas, and especially in Crystal City.
So moving from Crystal City to Springfield, Missouri was an interesting experience. Growing up in Crystal City, knowing everything was Latino, everything was focused on Latino, and then moving north to a town where there was very few Latinos there. Everybody was white, and everybody looked at Latinos a little differently. Reminded me about what we were taught growing up as far as forget your culture, forget your Spanish, you won't succeed in life until you do. So as a family moving to Springfield, one of the things that Papa said, we're not going to forget our culture, where we came from. We're going to remember where we are in Springfield. So one way that our family kind of continued with the Latino culture was speaking Spanish at home on Thursdays.
It's made them who they are. Their Hispanic roots have helped them develop their roles in whatever careers they have today. I think it's made them stronger.
I did not want to follow my dad's footsteps because I saw the challenge that he had as being a pastor and then also going into ministry as well. I wanted to make big money. So that dream at 14 years old when we moved to Springfield was kind of in the back of my mind, but I never thought of it. And an opportunity opened up where a gentleman, one of my mentors, a Latino, said, Mark, there's an opportunity for you to kind of go into community development. But I quickly went back to my thoughts about my dad. Being a pastor, that was what he did. He reached out to the Latino community. So I said, well, I'll give this a shot. But the impact that I had leading the Hispanic relations at Walmart has really set a trajectory from where I am now. God's placed me in a specific role here at Walmart as a senior director of public affairs now, leading a multi-million-dollar commitment, whether it be Hispanic relations, or right now I'm working on U.S. manufacturing or veterans, or even immigration. I'm now leading our efforts at Walmart around immigrant integration, helping communities and families that I knew and grew up with back in the day. Interesting to know, one of my events I got the opportunity to sponsor was the National Hispanic Prayer Breakfast. Here's where it comes full circle. My dad had the opportunity to do the opening prayer at that Hispanic breakfast while I'm sitting there as a sponsor through Walmart showing our support for something like that in Washington, D.C. It's interesting how God made a plan for me to go into Hispanic relations when I thought my direction was going to go totally different, looking at the monetary opportunities that exist in computers. Now looking back, God was preparing my life through my dad's pastoral experience and building Hispanic relations in Crystal City, Texas, but then also in Springfield, Missouri with the Assemblies of God headquarters. That experience that he did and the stories that he would tell me, I was now living out, but on the corporate side of things, working in Hispanic relations. So I had the opportunity at that Hispanic prayer breakfast to kind of bring my relationships and what I was doing to life with my dad's. And it's been an interesting journey throughout this whole time, how our paths consistently cross, but yet I still am able to live out a faith-driven life while working in the corporate environment, leading Hispanic relations. So having a multicultural community is very important. At Walmart, we kind of look at it as we're serving a very diverse customer base. So having a multicultural community helps you not only be innovative and find solutions addressing those communities, but then also serving those communities in the way they want. So as a Latino, I love it when we have Latino associates, all across the country serving our customers in one shape or fashion, whether it's in their language or in their culture. It's amazing to see when you have a diverse community coming together as one.
The Assemblies of God has also not only had deep roots, but they've also over and over again had wings to fly beyond the structure. And if you look at what we have now as a movement, the Hispanic relations area is able to touch the compassion ministries, touch the departmental ministries, touch the church planting ministries, because we have resources and we have a network of leadership across the nation that can come in when those needs come up to resource those situations. I think the need for a multi-ethnic endeavor or focus in the Assemblies of God has to reflect the growth of our country. Doug Clay has said his goal is to get to a place where there is no major ethnic majority in the Assemblies of God, but that we're all people from all nations, because that's our population, that's our world, that's our mission field. That's the world we got to reach.